Hi everybody, Dacob here. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am dressed in a minimalistic way and manner. Jeremy Scott for Adidas. 2011, I think, fall winter, 2012. Kind of, you can see here, scorched in the back by a tiger or a leopard jacket. Now, why am I dressed this way today? Because today I'll be reviewing a particular perfume, and we are in the 80s right now. We are in the powerhouse 80s. We are in extreme, strong scent epoch. Antaeus, Pour Homme by Chanel. Created in 1981 by Jacques Paul. So this was the outer package, this intense blood, ox blood red. And the blood has a meaning here. And then we have this intense black, pure black bottle with a white inscription. It says Antaeus Pour Homme Chanel Eau de Toilette. This is, of course, a reformulated bottle and version. I do not have an 80s or a 90s bottle right now with me. Although this was the first perfume that was purchased for me as a gift for my birthday way back in the 90s. That was so funny. I was like a kid. I had, anyway, I loved perfumes already, and somebody just got me Antaeus. I loved it, but I couldn't use it. It was just too overpowering. Still, to date, it's very overpowering. But there are moments, especially also in summer, but especially when it's kind of cloudy outside and you need something to counter that, and you need the warmth to fight against the humidity. Jacques Paul made it, as we said, 1980. What was it? 81? I believe this was his first perfume for Chanel. I mean, it's reformulated and it's less strong than it used to be, but it's still intense. So what does it say? Let's see. The top notes. Clary sage, lime, Amalfi lemon, bergamot, coriander, and myrrh. The myrrh is in there. And the myrrh is in the top note, so you can imagine how warm this thing is. Basil is in the middle notes, rose, thyme, and jasmine. Now we have all these delicate flowers in the middle note that kind of just like caress, the scent all over. From in between, and in betwixt. Then we have castoreum oil, oak moss, patchouli, and French labdanum. Of course, most of these ingredients have been replaced with artificial ingredients, so we don't have the intensity we used to have in the past. Now, why did Jacques Paul go for the name Antaeus? I've been doing a little bit of research. I mean, I had to read about this stuff in school, but just to refresh my memory, Antaeus Greeks of the 6th century who had established colonies along the coast of North Africa placed Antaeus in the interior desert of Libya. Antaeus would challenge all passengers to wrestling matches, kill them, and collect their skulls. Ox blood red. Rings a bell? So that he might one day build out of them a temple to his father Poseidon. He was indefatigably strong. I guess what they want to say is he could never tire. As long as he remained in contact with the ground, his mother earth. But once lifted into the air, he became as weak as other men. So Antaeus had defeated most of his opponents until it came to fight with Heracles, who was on his way to the garden of Hesperides for his 11th labor. Upon finding that he could not beat Antaeus by throwing him to the ground, as he would reheal. Oh yes, because if you throw him to the ground, Antaeus reheals. As he would reheal due to his parentage, Gaia, Heracles discovered the secret of his power. Holding Antaeus aloft, Heracles crushed him in a bear hug. The struggle between Antaeus and Heracles is a favorite subject in ancient and Renaissance sculpture. So we all perish sooner or later, and here comes this endless story that I tell about perfumes associated to life and death. and how a perfume kind of builds up. It's born when you spray it. It creates its magic with your chemistry on your skin, and then it slowly fades out till it lingers off and fades out and dies. Antaeus is one of those half human, half gods that also perishes in the end. And his strength is earth. That's why I guess Jacques Paul called the perfume Antaeus, because of the strength of rehealing through earth is a big subject here. One of the ingredients that was not listed and that is often said to be sensed out to be part of Antaeus is honey. There, more so in the not reformulated, the original version, not so in the reformulated version, but you still sense out that sweetness and that honey, and it's delicious. So you have so much earth in here, but Jacques Paul definitely created poetry because he blended it in so well, this earth, with mythology. And I'm saying this because as the 80s were powerhouse perfume times, where masculinity was supposed to be represented through smells, scents, odors, perfumes that were extremely intense and strong, at the same time, to kind of create that strength, you had to go the artificial way, the artificial route of adding strong ingredients to perfume to elevate the wearer to kind of hyperhuman or uberhuman level, which is the level where scents become overpowering and mesmerizing to some, or negatively intoxicating to others. Antaeus is to some stinky, to others well-rounded but too strong, and to others yet well-balanced and tameable if you dose it correctly, and then to others it's amazing and they just like kind of shower in it. This perfume is available in 50 milliliter spray and 100 milliliter spray as of now. There's a deodorant stick, I think in some countries deodorant spray as well. Then there is the gel, there's the bath and shower gel. I think there's also an aftershave, and that would be it. Perhaps there is some kind of emulsion for the beard post-shaving. I'm not so sure about that. But I do have a 50 milliliter spray because I use this very sparingly. Mine was made in France. I know that some of them are made in the US, but usually the ones made in the US are sold in the US. And I think this is also to kind of facilitate Chanel regulate their imports, so they don't have to import a perfume. It's just made in the country. So I think they could make more money if they produce the perfumes in America and sell them in America. However, you know how it is. Ingredients and raw ingredients, especially flowers, vary from year to year, from soil to soil, from humidity to humidity. So it's not necessarily true that a perfume that is made in the US is less, a Chanel perfume made in the US is less quality than the ones made in Europe. They will be slightly different. The second you have some natural ingredient, every batch of perfume is going to be slightly different. Unless the perfume isn't completely artificial, in which case you could just replicate and duplicate everything, just clone it over and over and over again. I do believe that you need those natural ingredients because those are the ones that add up to your character and allow you to blend in your chemistry and your smell with the perfume. More so than the artificial ones like CK1 and perfumes like that just smell the same on every skin. It's like you just, there's no difference. You can't differentiate it from skin to skin. This one is powdery, it's intense, it's like, it's aggressive, but at the same time, it's flowery, there's the honey touch to it, it's warm. So it's aggressive, but it's also tamed or tameable. Now, if you know how to kind of, as mythology wants it, if you know how to elevate Antaeus up from the ground and dose it correctly, then you can tame Antaeus. Otherwise, he's gonna kill you. He's gonna cut and chop your nose off and your head off, and we're gonna have the ox blood red going on. So we don't want that, right? So we have to learn how to dose it. Now, there's something green in here as well. There's something very, very green to me. I'm not really feeling too much Greek mythology here, and it's not also necessary to feel it. The name already says it all, Antaeus. But I am feeling again an island, and this one has more like the desert going on. A lot of sandy yellow hues. And then from time to time, there's some weird plant growing in the desert. Not like a cactus, but no thorns on it. Just some weird concoction with a lot of red flowers on it. And they're meaty, you know, because they collect all the water they could get. So there's just like cactus flowers with like meaty, juicy flowers. In between, amidst this desert that is kind of endless, even though it's on an island, but you kind of keep walking towards the water, but you can't find the water. There is no water, there's no shore. Even though you are on an island that you know you're on an island, still, you're going on in circles. And that's what Antaeus kind of creates with me. It makes me go in circles. It's a labyrinth of sorts. Because it doesn't let me identify it really very precisely. Similar to Chanel number 5, and you can check out that review up above. It has that unidentifiable touch to it. And it doesn't let you grasp it, you know? It's very evasive. Even though it's constantly slapping you in the face because it's there, it's very present and it's very intense, it still runs away from you the second you kind of start realizing you know what it's made of. It has a lot of ingredients, and they're blended out in a way that they're kind of like a seesaw, like a swing. Yeah, like a swing, I guess, or a seesaw. Well, anyway, because they're going up and down and forth and backwards all the time, so it's like this, you know, and and you have the feeling a certain ingredient hits you, then it goes back again, and it's covered up by another one that's been blended in very well before or after it, and it just kind of, you know, keeps changing. Here we go. Now we're voguing in a perfume review. But it's sophisticated. And very, very, very sophisticated. So, in the mid-90s, when Jean-Paul Gaultier hit the market with Le Male, it was also powerhouse perfume. I mean, this one is approximately 6 years older than Le Male. There was a different kind of, you know, Le Male is more artificial, and it kind of doesn't allow the wearer to blend it in very well with his skin, because Le Male is overpowering, and you always smell that it's Le Male. That lavender in there, there's something about it that just overpowers everybody else. And it's kind of lost its charm, I think, throughout the decades, and right now it's more of a, dare I say it has a, I love it. I have a lot of bottles of Le Male, but dare I say it has something cheap about it. Something simple. And it's also passed through reformulations, and it's not what it used to be, and it was amazing in the past, but it's a perfume very much centered within its time in the 90s. This one has that 80s touch. We're leaving the 70s, we're entering the 80s, and it's so specific to that time. But it's more timeless. Now, Bois des Îles from Chanel, and you can also check out that review up above. Bois des Îles had like a very specific past and then a very specific future, hints to future. This one doesn't have that at all. This one is rooted. So if we say that time is kind of structured, like going back and forth and kind of in this kind of horizontal direction, it would flow as water would, let's say. Time is, to me, in my notion of time, and maybe this sounds crazy to you guys, but to me, time is horizontal. This perfume defies time. Why? Because this perfume to me is vertical. It literally, like a spear, like cuts through the soil, the earth, and everything. And in order to fully understand this perfume, you gotta go in vertical, not in horizontal. Not horizontal, we're going vertical. So we're climbing up this ginormous, weird red flower in the middle of the desert, which is Antaeus. But at the same time, we're kind of trying to go down, and then we go into, there's like an entrance into the flower, then you're like entering this plant, and you have the roots going deep, 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 deep down into the soil, and then you're like trying to go down there as well, and it gets sturdy and rooted and earthy. And the higher you go, the more elevated it gets, the more incense-y it gets, and the more mesmerizing it gets. It stays very male at the same time, and it keeps biting in a very, very, very charismatic way, though. To me, this reformulation is not aggressive as the 80s perfume might have been. It's more subtle. It keeps like pinching you and, trying to grab you and grasp you, but at the same time, it does it with such elegance and ease, as if it were made to be so. Always. So it doesn't feel like it doesn't fit or suit this perfume, but more so it feels like it perfectly matches the story behind this perfume, the combination of the ingredients within this perfume. So what do we have with Sillage? Sillage is extremely, it depends how you dose it. I mean, everything about this perfume. So let's say if you spray it 4 times already, you're going to smell it the next day on you, even the reformulated version. People around you will sense it, not just like an arm length away, but maybe an arm and a foot away. They're gonna sense it. It's gonna be there. So dose it very well. Be very cautious. Some skins need more sprays. Some skins need half a spray. Mine needs 2. Sometimes 3 if I'm in the type of mood where I want to kind of repel people, not because I'm stinky, but repel them just so people, kind of are more aware of me and are more cautious that I'm present in the room. And I kind of give off a signal of like, leave me alone today. Be careful. I'm not in the mood. Not that it's aggressive or like negative in a way, but it definitely gives off a lot of character and a lot of temper. It's very zesty. It's a very, very zesty perfume, but elegant. So it could go wrong if you climb up this vertical plant. If you go up too high, there's not going to be enough oxygen. You're going to suffocate. If you dig your way through the roots too deep down, there's not going to be enough oxygen. You're going to suffocate. You got to manage to stand in between. As long as you're on the earth, right where this plant begins to grow upwards and where it sheds its roots, if you manage to find that balance to be on the ground, as Antaeus, within the mythology, would absorb his energy and would replenish and re-heal, so would you. If you manage to find that balance with Antaeus, vertically speaking, in the right point to stay on the earth, right on the earth, not underneath, not above, you're going to feel its magic. And it is magical. But you're going to have to do a lot of trial and error to get there. You're going to have to figure out how it works with your chemistry, how it works when after showering, before showering, what sort of conditioner do you use for your hair, what sort of shampoo you use for your hair, because that also has a smell. What sort of body cream do you use? What sort of body lotion do you use? If you use any, how humid is it outside? Is it night outside? Is it day? Is it winter? Is it summer? There's so many factors. The mood, the stress factor of your skin, your hormonal balance at that day, and that week, that month, that year. All of that contributes to placing rocks in your path along the way towards your finding the right level of this vertical plant in order to be right on the ground. If you find that, you find the magic of Antaeus. But it's a mystery, and that's why I say it's a labyrinth to me, because I still haven't really balanced it out perfectly on my skin. I keep guessing. Sometimes I'm very close and I go, yeah, almost got it. Sometimes I go, no, no, I'm totally off by a mile, by a century, by a building in height. So it keeps me guessing. It's a labyrinth. Antaeus is a mystery, and I love the fact that it has mythological Greek mythology going on within its name, because it definitely is a mystery. It's a treasure hunt because we're hunting down that soft spot where we are between underground and the air, right underground. And it's so hard to stay grounded, people. And you guys probably know also, for all of you who love perfumes or fashion in general or anything that you might love, it's so easy to kind of just catapult yourself and just become addicted to something, to go over the limit. But this one is all about balancing and limit. And within that limit lies also the pleasure. You know, it's also slightly an SM relationship, because this perfume wants you to obey. And if you manage to obey its rules and it matches well to your chemistry at a certain point, that's when it gives you gratitude. Otherwise, you're just a slave trying to figure out what your master really wants. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you liked this review. I hope you liked Antaeus. If you have it, if you don't, try it out. If you feel like doing so, leave me comments in the comment section below. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And please do subscribe if you wish to see more, because I do make videos every day. Take care, everybody. Love you. Bye.